Golden Radio Hour.
In just a moment, X-1. But first, if you're planning to join the family for this holiday weekend, remember you have a friend who will keep you company through the long hours on the road. That friend is your car radio, and it brings you a full weekend of the most stimulating variety entertainment when you tune in to NBC's Monitor. Yes, you set your dial just once for hours and hours of refreshing variety. News as it happens, sports coverage, everything from baseball to skin diving, interviews with the stars. Plus, lots of the relaxing music you like to hear. It's all on Monitor this weekend. And now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC. Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire.
From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight's story, A Pail of Air, by Fritz Leiber.
It was pretty quiet in the nest. Pa was just sitting by the fire, staring into it like he does these days, and Ma was asleep. That's why it was so quiet. Ma has some pretty bad times when she just screams and huddles back against the blankets that line the nest. Sis was looking at herself in the mirror that hangs next to the bookshelf. I don't know what she finds to look at so long, but then she's a girl. She just looks at herself. Saturdays, when Pa puts a couple of extra lumps of coal on the fire and we take a bath, she looks at herself in the mirror and sometimes she cries. I dropped the book I was reading, and I guess that woke Ma.
Huh? What? What?
Pick up the book, Bud.
I'm sorry, Pa.
It's come back. Hasn't it, Alfred? It's come back.
It was just Bud. He dropped his book.
Oh, but it's come back. Why, it's out there now, isn't it? I feel a lot warmer.
Now, Ethel.
It's up there in the sky. Just the way it always was. I know. I had a dream, Alfred.
I know, dear. Sis, melt your mother a cup of water.
I'm combing my hair.
Sis.
Oh, all right.
Got to get up. I know it's there. There'll be crocuses. And the spring bulbs. And daffodils.
What are daffodils, Ma?
Well, Buddy, they're a flower. And they're very pretty. Yellow. On a tall green stalk. Oh, I want to go out. I want to take the children out.
All right now, Ethel. Here's some water.
Come on, children. We'll all go out and you can play in the sun.
Sure, Ma.
Here, drink the water, Ma.
It's cold, Alfred. You rap on the pipes and make that super send up some more heat.
What's a super, Pa?
It doesn't matter, Bud. There aren't any anymore.
Oh.
Pa, the pail's running low.
Bud, you better get into your things and go out and get an extra pail of air.
There are a couple of pails behind the first blankets.
Go on, get into your things.
It isn't back, is it?
No, it isn't.
There's no sun in the sky. No sun, is there?
No, Ma. What was it like?
The sun.
Sis, don't get your ma upset.
The sun was yellow. And so bright you couldn't look at it. Burning hot. So hot. But when you stretched out in it, it made you feel warm all over. Tingly warm. It's been so long since I've been that warm.
I was warm last year on my birthday when Pa put all that extra coal on.
And then every morning it would come out of the east, make the clouds all pink and yellow. And the mist would rise in the ground, and then slowly everything would glow warmer, warmer. And then it would be up there in the sky, shining, warm.
Hurry up, Bud.
I'm almost ready, Pa.
I want the sun. I want the sun back. Alfred, get me the sun
It's gone, Ethel. There's nothing I can do.
for Christmas on my birthday.
Go ahead, Bud. Take the big pail and get it full this time. There's no sense in taking the trip for only half a bucket of air.
I spilled it the last time.
It's dark, Alfred, it's dark.
Go ahead, Bud.
Strap down the helmet, will you, sis?
For goodness sake, stand up straight.
Okay. All right, I'll be right back.
Don't hold the blankets open too long. All right, Ethel. They're all safe. Bud will be right back with another pail of air. It's all right.
I went through the 30 or so blankets that Pa hung up to slow down the air escaping from the nest. Of course, I knew the way. I've been going out for air since I was a kid. Still, I get a funny, crawly feeling every time I go out of the nest. You gotta go up to the 5th floor, which is just above the blanket of frozen air. You see, when the earth got cold, all the water in the air froze first and made a blanket about 10 feet thick or so. And then down on top of that dropped all the crystals of frozen air, making another blanket 60 or 70 feet thick. I came out of the window we use on the 5th floor and started to scoop up the air into my pail. I had it about full. Boy, my fingers are getting pretty cold when I saw something. Hey, that's a light. Oh, darn it, I kicked over the bucket. Oh, there can't be a light. Not moving around in a window like that. There can't be. Come on, Pa and Sis are back in the nest. I'm up here, and there can't be anyone else. Everybody on Earth is dead except us. I had an idea how Ma must feel sometimes, the way she sees things. But there it was, moving around in the building across the way. I stood there shaking, and I almost froze my feet. I did frost my helmet so solid on the inside I couldn't see anything. So I hurried up and scooped up another bucket of air and headed back for the nest as fast as I could. Pa, I saw something.
Go on, hang those outside clothes up by the fire.
Phew. Pa, I saw something, I did.
Your mother's quiet now. Don't upset her.
Pa, it was a light.
Wait till I get this air next to the fire. Give me the cloth, Sis.
Shall I put another lump of coal on, Pa?
No. The oxygen from this bucket will get the fire up when it begins to melt. There.
Pa, I'm trying to tell you, I saw something up there. Light.
There's lots of lights. Stars.
I know what stars look like, Dopey. They're big, steady white lights in the sky. This was down here in a building.
What is it? Alfred, what is it?
Nothing, Ethel. Now, what is this, Bud?
Well, first I thought it was a lady, a young lady. I mean it. Like in one of those old magazines. I thought I saw it in a window. But then all I saw was a light.
You watched it for some time, son?
Long enough for it to pass 5 windows and go to the next floor.
And it didn't look like stray electricity?
No, Pa, I know what that looks like.
Or a star refracted through an icicle? Sometimes if you catch it at the right angle, it...
Pa, honest, I never saw anything like it before.
All right. I'll go out with you and you show me.
No, Alfred. You can't go and leave us alone, not both of you.
It's all right. We'll be right back.
Here's your helmet, Pa.
There's something out there. I've always known there was something out there waiting to get us.
Hand me my glove.
Something that's part of the cold, hates all warmth, wants to destroy the nest. Been watching us all this time. Now it's coming after us, and it'll get you, and then it'll come for me. Oh, don't go. Alfred, please don't go.
Everything will be all right. Now, sis,
Yes, Pa?
you come watch the fire. Keep an eye on that air, too. If it gets too low or doesn't seem to be boiling fast enough, get another bucket behind the blanket.
Alfred, don't go.
I'll take care of it, Pa. Could there really be anybody out there?
I don't see how. We heard the last radio voices a year before Bud was born. There hasn't been anything since then.
Then what could it be?
I don't know. Probably just a reflection. An ice crystal cracking. Come on, Bud. Get your helmet on.
It's funny. When I go out alone, I'm not scared or anything. But when I go out with Pa, I always hang on to his belt like I used to when I was a little kid. Habit, I guess. It's the same no matter what trip we take. On the 5th floor, we stopped to rest just before we went out. We were in the room with the frozen people. The lady sitting looking at the door. The man holding his hands over that funny metal thing Pa calls a radiator. It was like a fire, I guess, but I don't see any place for the cold. We put our helmets together so we could talk.
Catch your breath, son.
Pa, would it be possible, for any of the frozen people to come to life? Like the ones down in the basement around the furnace when we go for water?
No, they're dead. They were caught too quickly when it happened.
Oh, Pa, how do we know we're the only ones?
We don't, but, well, there's a feeling you get. Because it's always night. There used to be some of that feeling every night in the old days. But the sun chased it away every morning. You wouldn't know about that. You weren't born when the dark star pulled us away from the sun. You wouldn't know unless you'd seen the sun.
I've seen the sun. It's that big star at the end of the Big Dipper. I've seen it.
It isn't the same. Come on. They're wasting time.
I don't know what the city looked like in the old days, but now it's beautiful. The starlight lets you see it pretty well. We're up on a hill, and the plain slopes down away from us. Some taller buildings push up out of the feathery plain, topped by rounded caps of air crystals. Some of them are on a slant because a lot of the buildings are badly twisted by the quakes and everything when a dark star pulled the Earth away from the sun. That's why Pa can't seal up the nest airtight. The building's twisted too bad. Besides, we have to keep the chimney open. We touched our helmets together so we could talk.
Is that where you saw it, son?
It isn't there anymore.
Uh-huh.
But it feels different. As if there's something out here, waiting.
Bud, if you see something like that again, don't tell the others.
Huh? Why not?
Well, your ma's sort of nervous these days, and we owe her all the feeling of safety we can give her. Once, it was when your sister was born, I was ready to give up and die, but your mother kept me trying. Another time, she kept the fire going a whole week all by herself when I was sick.
She couldn't do that now. Not the way she is.
But you know that game we sometimes play, tossing a ball around? Well, courage is like a ball. A person can hold it only so long, and then he's got to toss it to someone else. When it's tossed your way, you've got to catch it and hold it tight, and hope there'll be someone else to toss it to when you get tired of being brave.
Yeah, I guess so.
Come on. We'll fill up the pails and get back.
But what about whatever it is out here?
We'll just have to wait and see. Come on. Before the helmets frost over.
It's pretty hard to hide your feelings in the nest. There's just room for the four of us. The blanket overhead just touches when Pa stands up straight. The floor's all covered with thick, woolly rugs. Pa says it's inside a much bigger room, but I've never seen the real walls or ceiling. Well, anyway, Pa laughed and kidded about what I'd seen. He said I had an imagination, but we could tell he took it serious. It was Sunday morning by the clocks that Pa kept all wound up on the shelf. So it was time for the story. We all sat around in a circle the way we always do, except I noticed that Pa casually took a hammer from the shelf and put it beside him. I always liked the story. Of course, Sis and I know it by heart by now. I mean, every Sunday since we were kids. But every once in a while, Pa surprises us by telling it a little different, or throwing in some extras. It starts out with a song. Ma used to sing it, but she forgets the words sometimes. And now Pa sings it mostly.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, thy purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain.
Of course, the words don't mean anything. I mean, the skies are spacious enough, but there aren't any waves of grain, and the plain is all covered with a blanket of frozen air. But it's part of the story ceremony, and Pa likes it. He says it reminds him of the old days. After the song, Pa starts the story.
In the days of my youth, the sun hung above, golden and warm, and the earth was fruitful and multiplied, and the fields were green, and the day was glorious, and the wind blew across the hilltops, and the air was free and good to breathe.
That's the part of the story I like best, about how it was with the sun nice and warm. It's hard to believe, all those people living without having to worry about cold and air, never waking up sweating and screaming because you dreamed the fire went out. It's impossible to believe, but Pa was a good storyteller, and he made it seem real.
And then the dark star came rushing out of space. In the beginning, they tried to keep the news from the people, but when the floods and the earthquake started, the truth came out. At first, they thought the dark star would hit the sun, and then they were afraid it would strike the earth itself. But it didn't. It only came close.
Pa tells it like the sun and the dark star fought for the earth like two dogs over a bone. I know what he means, because I've seen a picture of a dog in a magazine. And then the dark star won and carried us off. But the sun kept the moon. There were earthquakes and floods. Pa says that mountains fell and oceans slopped over. Oceans, that's a lot of melted water lying around loose. It's hard to imagine. Pa says it was so. Then came the open question time in the story. Sis asked a question about what girls wore for clothes. And I asked Pa how people acted in those days when the earth was twisted and jerked almost apart.
Well, Bud, I was too busy to notice much. A friend of mine, Dr. Weisbrot, and Kelly, the geophysicist, and Walters, the astronomer, we knew what was going to happen. And we were working to fix up a place with airtight walls and insulation and big supplies of food and bottled air. But the place got smashed up in the earthquakes, and they were all killed. So I put the nest together at the last minute in the living room of our apartment. It's a 4-room apartment.
You must have seen some of the people, like the frozen ones downstairs.
At that time, Bud, I only thought of one thing. Your mother and survival. If I had stopped to think, I wouldn't have even tried to make the nest. It would have seemed ridiculous. Blankets and a coal fire against the cold and vacuum of space. But I didn't think. I survived.
I wasn't listening carefully as Pa went on about the building of the nest. I kept thinking about something else. About that light I'd seen outside. I kept asking myself, what if the frozen people were coming to life? What if they were like the liquid helium that crawls toward heat when it should be frozen solid? What if something were coming from the dark star to get us? Something making the frozen people move. not by themselves. That would fit with what I'd seen. A young lady's face in the moving light. I sat there and shivered, thinking of the frozen people with minds from the dark star creeping, crawling, snuffing their way, following the heat to the nest. And then, over from beyond the blankets, I thought I heard a tiny noise.
So I asked myself then, what's the use of going on? Why prolong a doomed existence of hard work and cold and loneliness? The human race is done. The earth is done. Why not give up, I asked myself.
And then I did hear the noise, louder this time, a kind of shuffling tread coming closer.
And then I got the answer. The Earth's always been a lonely place millions of miles from the next planet. And no matter how long the human race might have lived, the end would have come some night. Those things don't matter. What matters is that life is good, has a lovely texture, like some rich cloth or fur, or the petals of flowers, crocuses, daffodils, or the fire's glow. And that's as true for the last man as the first.
Still, those steps kept shuffling closer. Pa was talking, and Ma was dreaming with her eyes closed, and Sis was looking at herself sideways in the mirror. And I was the only one who heard the noise. A noise outside.
So right then and there, I told myself that I was going on as if we had all eternity ahead of us. I'd have children, and I'd teach them all I could. I'd get them to read books, try to enlarge and seal the nest. I'd try to keep everything beautiful and alive. I'd keep alive my feeling of wonder, even at the cold and the dark and the distant stars.
Pa, I hear...
I know.
What is it, Alfred? What is it? What's going on? Oh, you've got to tell me.
Pa, I'm scared.
Quiet. But you heard it?
Uh-huh. A kind of shuffling, coming toward the nest.
Oh.
Sis, take care of your mother.
It's all right, Ma. Lie down. Come on.
I'll take the hammer. You take the hatchet.
What is it, Pa? What is it?
I don't know. Listen.
It's closer.
Ma, shh.
Pa, the blanket is moving. Ready with your axe.
Hello? Who's there? Is there somebody in there?
Come in. It's all right.
They're alive. Alive.
Who are you?
Alfred. Hutchinson. Dr. Alfred Hutchinson. You can take off your helmets in here.
But the air.
We have air.
We bring it in pails.
Come on, Ralph. Let's take off the helmets.
It's impossible.
Oh, where are you from? We thought we were the only ones.
Los Alamos.
The nuclear laboratory.
Yes, that's right. We get our power from the reactor, using the stockpile of bombs for fuel.
Then there are others. There are other men. There are other men.
Pa, is it all right? Should I put the axe down?
Yes, it's all right. You can put it down.
You mean you come from another nest?
It's a little bigger than this. We've got a small airtight city with airlocks.
We generate our electricity, food from hydroponics.
I can't believe it. I can't.
I can't believe this. It's impossible. You can't maintain an air supply without hermetic sealing. It's impossible.
Oh, no, it's simple. As long as you keep the fire going to melt the air, and enough air boiling to keep the fire burning.
How did you come here? Why?
Well, we keep scouting around for survivors. There are a number of colonies, Brookhaven, Oak Ridge, and Harwell in England, and the Argonne Laboratory in France. We didn't expect to find anything in this city, though. But our detectors picked up a heat trace, so we tracked it down.
Alfred, you're forgetting your manners. We have company.
Of course, of course. Sis, throw a handful of coal on the fire.
Pa, a whole handful?
Doesn't matter now. And Bud, bring out another pail of air.
Well, it's incredible.
And you have laboratories and transport?
We only have a two-seater Scout, but if we rip out the bulkhead to the storage compartment, we can make it all right.
We can have you back at Los Alamos in 4 hours.
What's the matter?
I guess we really hadn't thought about it that way.
But, I wouldn't know how to act there. And besides, I haven't any clothes.
Just doesn't seem right to let this fire go out. It's been 18 years. Burning every minute.
But you can't stay here.
Ralph.
But after all...
Ralph.
Oh. Look, Dr. Hutchinson, we'll go out to the ship and bring back a small power heater. I know this is very sudden and upsetting to you. You need a chance to adjust.
We'll be back in a few minutes. It's incredible. In buckets, air in buckets.
Well,
They didn't think the nest smelled so good. I could tell.
She had a wave in her hair. Did you see that? And lipstick.
I suppose we have to decide what to do.
Pa, at Los Alamos and those other places, there'll be lots of people, won't there?
Yes,
I mean, not just your father or a brother.
that's right.
Boys?
I suppose so. But somehow I feel a little empty.
Alfred, it's different now that we know others are alive. You don't have to feel the responsibility for keeping the human race going.
Pa, I'd like to see those rockets and laboratories. Wouldn't you, Pa?
I suppose so.
It won't be easy leaving the nest. I mean, it's just right, and there's only 4 of us. It's kind of a scary idea. Big place with a lot of strangers.
You'll get over that feeling, son. The trouble with the world was that it kept getting smaller and smaller till it ended with just the nest. Now it'll be good to have a real, huge world again. The way it was in the beginning.
And so, we're gonna leave the nest in the morning. By Pa's clocks. We've got the power heater going now. Seems funny to be this warm when it isn't Christmas or somebody's birthday. But still, it's hard for me to realize that this is the last time I'll go out of the nest, through all the blankets, to get a pail of air.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy's science fiction magazine, which this month features the Edward M. Ludwig story, A Coffin for Jacob. With never a moment to rest, the pursuit through space felt like a game of hounds and hares. Or was it Follow the Leader? Galaxy magazine on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you A Pail of Air, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Fritz Leiber and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Ronnie Liss, Pamela Fitzmaurice, Richard Hamilton, Eleanor Phelps, Rita Lloyd, and Joe DeSantis. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
And now an important announcement for the listeners of X-1. Beginning next week, X-1 will be heard over most of these stations at a new time, Tuesdays at 8:30 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget, listen next Tuesday from 8:30 to 9 p.m. for X-1. Monitor takes you everywhere this weekend on the NBC Radio Network.
Now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire.
From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X-1.
Tonight, Clifford D. Simak's story of the 21st century, How To.
Build your own three-dimensional color TV set. Complete kit, screwdriver assembly in 3 hours. Nah, I've done that. Well, let's see. A dog is man's best friend. Build your own dog. Complete kit, spaniel model, only $250. Yeah, hey, that's it. My next project.
Gordon, is that you?
Yeah, yeah. Where are you?
Out on the terrace. I'm just finishing a landscape.
Oh, hi, yeah. Grace, look, did it come?
Don't kiss me. You'll get all full of paint.
I wasn't going to. Where's the package?
Well, they set it against the side of the house. Over there, see?
Oh, it came, huh? I want to look at it.
I would have put it down in the basement, but I couldn't lift it.
Hey, this is pretty heavy for a spaniel. I can't lift this myself.
Well, I'll start dinner as soon as I finish this part of the picture. I want to get the grass while the light's right.
Yes, all right. So no hurry. I want to examine the kit anyhow.
Of course, if you didn't waste our money on things like dog kits, maybe we could afford a robot, and I wouldn't have to cook.
Yeah. All right.
There. That should be enough for now. The light's beginning to get tricky. Good night. You're not going to open that thing here on the terrace. Now, you'll make a mess.
I just want to see the parts. You know, this thing's too big and heavy to be a dog kit.
Maybe it's a Great Dane.
No, it can't be. Look, here's the shipping tag.
From How To Kits, Inc. to Gordon Knight. One dog kit, spaniel model, $250, paid in full.
The Great Dane cost $350.
Well, all I can say is that must be the world's biggest spaniel.
Hey, you know, that's darn funny.
I told you I don't want you fooling around with it up here. Now take it down in
Grace,
the basement.
this can't be a dog kit. You know what I think? It's a robot.
A robot? But you didn't order a robot. Or did you?
No, certainly not. They made a shipping error. That's about the size of it. Ah, doggone it. I'll have to put this crate back together again and call the express company.
Are you going to return it?
Well, certainly I'm going to return it. You don't think we can keep it, do you?
Well, why not? The tag says paid in full, so they can't say we owe them anything.
But it's a robot. They're expensive.
Well, I don't see how the company will ever know. When inventory time comes around, they'll be short one robot and long one dog.
Of course, I've always wanted to put together a real robot. Lord knows when I'd get another chance.
Then it's settled.
No, it is not settled either. I tell you what, I'll put it together just to see what it's like. But I won't activate it, see? I mean, I'll, disassemble it right away and ship it back to the company. Well, there we are. Grace, look at it. Isn't that a beauty, though?
You finished?
Well, all but the activating. Oh. Grace.
What?
I was just thinking, How do I know I've got all the parts adjusted properly?
I haven't the remotest idea.
No, well, the only sure way would be to test it.
You mean activate?
Well, only for a minute or two, you understand? I mean, just to be sure.
Then what?
Well, then I'll disassemble it, naturally.
Well, all right. As long as you don't take too long.
No. I'll have it in a jiffy. Now, here, look. Oh, you see, all I have to do is just put on the activating plate. Yeah. And turn this lock nut in like so. Now, wait a minute. Just adjust the automatic current control. Huh? Yeah, there. Now, that should do it. Now, stand back, and I'll turn it on.
Oh, I hope it works.
Oh, it'll work. I followed the directions to the letter. You ready? Now.
It works!
Yeah, I'll have to oil that joint. Wait. Grace, it's moving its head.
My name is Albert. I am a robot. What is there to do?
Well, it certainly has a nice voice.
Now, take it easy, Albert. Just sit down and rest, and we'll have a little talk.
There's no need to rest. I was made to work.
Well, as long as it doesn't need to rest, I can think of 100 things for it to do. Now, there's the house and the garden and the lawn.
No, look, Grace,
I wonder if he could learn to cook.
A robot can be taught to do anything a person can do.
Oh.
No, hold on a minute, Albert, please, and listen to me. We can't keep you, you understand. I mean, you were sent here by mistake. But, I mean, as long as you're activated, there wouldn't be any harm in letting you do a few things.
I can do anything.
Good. The whole house needs a thorough cleaning.
Grace.
Then, of course, I'd like some new drapes for the study.
No.
And the kitchen hasn't been painted for 4 years. Then there's that leaky faucet.
Oh, Lord.
Well, what's the matter?
Attachments. There aren't any. Look, he can't do all that stuff without attachments. And they cost almost as much as the robot itself.
Don't worry about attachments. Just tell me what's to be done.
Well, you heard my wife.
Oh, what about your grounds?
Oh, I got 100 beat-up acres that need attention, but of course I realize that's too much work, huh?
Don't worry about a thing. I can fix it for you. I will make the necessary equipment.
Make your own attachment?
Don't worry about a thing.
Yeah, but how?
Oh, for heaven's sake, stop arguing with him and let him get to work.
I'm not arguing.
Morning, Gordon. Your coffee's ready. How'd you sleep, dear?
Oh, not so good. Kept hearing noises all night.
Oh, that was Albert working in the basement.
Yeah. Albert? Hey, gosh, that's right. I forgot robots don't sleep.
He was working all night. When I came into the kitchen just now, I found the breakfast all prepared. He can cook. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. What's he doing now?
Oh, I don't know. Making something, I think. Oh, Gordon, he's going to be such a tremendous help to me. I'll be able to spend more time than ever with my painting.
Now, wait a minute. What makes you think we can keep him? I mean, no, Grace. I mean, we could get into trouble.
Well, I don't see how. I'll tell you what. Why don't you walk over and call on Anson Lee? He could advise you.
What does he know about it?
He's a lawyer.
Well, technically, he's a lawyer. I mean, he never seems to work at it anymore.
Well, you have to understand Anson, that's all.
Look, I understand him all right. He's a reactionary, a throwback to the 20th century. Spends all his time lying in a hammock, drinking and reading Proust.
Well, it's what he enjoys doing.
I'll bet that guy never assembled a kit in his life. Can you imagine that?
Well, we all have our peculiarities. Just the same, he could give you legal advice.
Well, all right. I'll go over after breakfast if it'll make you feel any happier. Pass the cream.
I'll have a drink, Knight. Hard cider. Made it myself.
Thought you didn't go in for home projects, Lee.
Oh, I don't. Making this cider was the first honest work I've done in years.
I don't doubt it.
Every time I get a yen to work, I look across at your place and I decide against it. How many rooms have you added to that house since you got it built?
8.
Good Lord. Think of that. 8 rooms.
No. It's not hard once you get the knack. It's kind of fun. You just buy a how-to kit.
Sure, I know. Just follow directions.
That's right.
Anybody can build a robot on a kitchen table. Well, no thanks.
Why do you say that?
What?
I mean about building a robot.
Oh, I don't know. I suppose I expect you to start building one any time now. You've done everything else. What's got into people these days, Knight? They just aren't equipped to enjoy their leisure. That is, most of them aren't. Me? I am. I read, and I lie in a hammock, and now and again I even think.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess that makes me an eccentric. Here, have another drink.
Oh, no, thanks. I'll have to get back to my place. Albert!
You call me, sir?
Yeah, Albert, listen to me. Albert, I have reached a decision about you.
But I'm not Albert, sir.
Huh?
You would hardly expect Albert to be clipping hedges.
If you're not Albert, who are you?
Abe, Albert is down in the basement.
Well, what are you doing here? Where did you come from?
If you wish to talk to me, you will have to move along the hedge with me.
Oh.
I cannot stop working.
Oh, okay, move along. But where did you come from?
Albert made me.
Albert made you?
And now he's down in the basement working on Alfred.
Alfred? Another robot?
Certainly. That is what Albert is for. He makes robots.
Oh, no. Albert.
Oh, there you are.
Albert, what's going on here?
I'm reproducing.
What?
I have a built-in mother urge. I don't know why they named me Albert. I should have had a female name.
Oh, but you shouldn't be able to make robots.
Look, boss, you worry a lot. You want robots, don't you?
Well, yeah, I guess everybody could use a robot.
I make robots. I'm making all you need.
Albert, put down that head and listen to me. I want to have a serious talk.
Sure, boss. What's on your mind?
Now, Albert, I just looked through your packing case and I found this tag. Look, it says X, 190. X, Albert. Don't you understand? That means you're an experimental model.
That's correct.
You were never meant to be sold.
That is also correct.
I know. Don't you see? That means trouble. I can't keep you.
I've already taken care of that.
How do you mean?
I filed off my serial number and replated the surface.
Well, why did you do that?
So that they can't come around and take me back. They made me, and then they got scared and shut me off. But you're not afraid of me.
I'm
You
not.
assembled me and let me go to work.
Yep.
I'm sticking with you, boss.
Wait a minute. This could mean a lot of trouble for me, Albert.
No trouble. They can't prove a thing. I'll swear that you made me. I'll not let them take me back. They will take no chances next time. They'll break me up for scrap.
Oh, but look, if you make too many robots...
Robots are useful. You need a lot of them in this place. Now, don't worry, boss. Everything will work out.
Well...
I'll take good care of you.
Yeah.
Now, I must go back to work. Adelbert is nearly finished.
Mr. Knight, I'm from the county tax office, tax assessor.
Oh, I didn't know you fellas came around more than once a year.
Ordinarily, we don't. This is a special case.
Oh?
Made a lot of improvements in the place the past few days.
Oh.
Landscaping, painting, building.
Well...
Afraid I'll have to boost your assessment some.
I see.
Heard about those robots of yours, too.
Robots?
Personal property, you know. Have to pay a tax on them. Just how many have you got?
Oh, one or two.
I've been counting. They move around so fast I can't be sure, but I estimate the number at 38. That right?
If you say so.
38 it is, then. They cost $10,000 apiece. I'll assess them at 5. That's $190,000.
Oh, no. Hey, that's pretty steep.
But I'm going easy on you. By rights, I should only allow you a third for depreciation. Well, that's it, Mr. Knight. $190,000.
Wait.
We'll send you the bill with your quarterly statement.
But...
Good day.
Good day. Now, Albert, look, I've been holding off until we got the new landscaping job under control, but I can't hold off any longer. I mean, we got to start selling some of the robots.
Selling?
Yeah, 20 of them. That should do for a start. The tax assessor was here. I need the cash.
You can't sell the robots, boss.
Why can't I?
Because they're my family, my boys. Named after me, all of them.
Albert, I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous.
They're all I've got, boss. You wouldn't sell your own children, would you?
Well...
All their names start with A, just like mine. Abe, Adelbert, Alfred, Adam, Aaron, Anton, Axel.
All right. Don't go through the whole roll call. I mean, the point is I need the money.
Don't you worry, boss. I'll fix everything. You have nothing to worry about.
The point is, Mr. Knight, the Internal Revenue Department is always interested when a citizen shows a substantial capital gain during the year.
Capital gain? I haven't made any capital
Oh,
gain.
come, sir. I'm talking about the matter of some 52 robots. Well, as I understand it, their retail value is $10,000 each.
So they say.
52 times 10,000 is $520,000. On capital gains, you pay 50% or $260,000.
200, oh.
A tax, roughly, of $130,000.
Well, what do I do?
By the 15th of next month, you must file a declaration of estimated income. You pay half of the due tax at that time and the balance in monthly installments. And there's one other matter.
One other matter?
We investigated. We found you make $10,000 a year.
Huh?
Would you tell me, out of personal curiosity,
I understand.
just how a man of your particular means could show a capital gain of $500,000 in so short a time?
I'm beginning to wonder myself.
Well, our only concern is you pay your tax.
Yeah.
However, some other branch of the federal government might very well want to ask some questions sometime.
Oh?
If I were you, Mr. Knight, I would be ready with some answers.
Yeah.
Good day.
Good day. Albert, now look, I tell you, this is a crisis. Do you understand it? Like it or not, I have got to sell some of your boys, a whole bunch of them.
Boss, I told you not to worry.
Not to worry. Listen, I just came from the income tax people. I owe the government a cool $130,000, and those boys don't fool around. I'm desperate.
Money is no trouble, boss. Come here.
Come where?
Over here. Look at this.
What's this? What, those bales? What have they got? Don't tell me.
Full of money, boss. Help yourself.
You mean that actual, real money in those bales? Not stage money now.
Real money, boss. No ones, of course, but lots of 10s and 20s.
Yeah.
That bale over there is full of 50s.
Full of 50s.
We didn't fool around with the ones.
Albert, look me in the eye. Did you make that money?
You said you needed it. We took some bills and analyzed the ink. Found out how to weave the paper and made plates. I hate to sound immodest, boss, but they're beautiful.
Oh, my gosh, I'm a counterfeiter, too.
We just ran off as much as we thought you'd need.
Yeah.
If it's not enough, we'll make some more.
It's enough, not another dollar.
Well, you're the boss.
Albert, listen to me. There are laws in this country. I mean, you just can't go out and print money. That's a crime, don't you understand? Now, look, you take it all outside and burn it right up. You understand? And don't print any more. That is an order.
Gordon, are you down here?
I'm busy.
I hate to disturb you, dear, but I thought you ought to know about the sheriff.
I don't want to know... The sheriff?
He was here with a subpoena, or whatever you call them.
That's what you call him.
Seems the How-To company's going to sue us.
Oh, no. Oh, no, all right, that does it. That
Gordon,
does it.
Where are you going?
To see my lawyer.
Well, offhand, old man, I'd say you were in quite a jam.
I didn't have to walk all the way over here to find that out. The point is, Lee, what in the name of heaven can I do?
Well, first, you'll have to file a declaration of estimated income.
Even if I can't pay?
Well, especially if you can't pay.
Oh.
Technically, then, you haven't violated the law, and all they can do is to try to collect what you owe.
Yeah.
They'll probably slap an attachment on your bank account.
What bank account? I'm broke.
Oh. Well, then I'd say your major worry is the How-To company suit.
Yeah.
Now, if I were you, I'd settle it out of court.
Out of court?
Mm-hmm. They might call off the action if you returned all the robots.
Albert says he'll testify that I made him.
Well, Albert can't testify. As a robot, he has no standing in court.
Mm-hmm.
No, you better give them back and get what terms you can.
No. I won't do it.
Huh?
I won't. Don't you see? They don't want Albert back because they can use him. They want to break him up to maintain their robot prices. Don't you see? It might be 1,000 years before his principle is rediscovered, if it ever is.
Mm-hmm. Would that be bad?
I don't know. Only time will tell that, but, I mean, you could say the same thing about any great invention. Look, no, I will not let them destroy Albert.
Yes, I see your point, Knight. And I like it.
You like it?
Uh-huh. I'll take the case. Now, of course, I ought to warn you, I'm not a very good lawyer.
I know.
I don't work hard enough at it.
But I do have a chance, huh?
In all my practice at law, Knight, I never saw a man who'd gotten himself as fouled up as this.
No.
I'd say your chances are nil.
Yeah.
Boss?
It's Albert.
Boss, I heard about the suit.
Yeah, it's all right, Albert. Mr. Lee here is going to handle our case.
We robots want to help.
I'm afraid there's not much you can do.
Oh, yes, there is. I'm building a lawyer robot.
He's building a lawyer robot.
With far greater memory capacity than any human, and with brain computers that operate on logic. That's what law is based on, isn't it? Logic.
Well, so I've heard. But it won't work, Albert. To practice law, you must be admitted to the bar. To be admitted to the bar, you must have a degree in law and pass an examination. And although there's never been an occasion to establish a precedent, I suspect the applicant must be human.
Lee, wait a minute. What about law clerks? I mean, they don't have to be human.
Well, I'd say that was completely true.
Yeah, then Albert's robots can be clerks.
Mm-hmm. Well, could be.
See what I mean?
Yes. It's never been done, but there's nothing in the law that says it can't be done.
Then it's settled. I'll make a dozen to start. Each one will be an expert in one phase of the law. Boss, you're going to have the most powerful battery of legal talent ever assembled under one roof.
Quiet in the court. Mr. Lee, what is the meaning of this outrage?
What outrage, Your Honor?
Those robots sitting at the defense table.
These, Your Honor, are my valued assistants.
Robots?
Yes, Your Honor.
Take them away. They have no standing in this court.
If Your Honor will excuse me, they need no standing. I am the sole representative of the defendant. My client is a poor man, and he is opposed by the most formidable array of legal talent money can buy. Now, surely the court will not deny him whatever assistance he's been able to muster.
This, sir, is highly irregular.
If it please Your Honor, I should like to point out that we live in a mechanized age. The court clerk uses a machine to take down the transcript of these very proceedings. To my certain knowledge, no court has ever challenged the presence of such a device as an aid to the furtherance of justice. Now, if Your Honor can point out anything in the law specifically barring these robots from the court...
That's ridiculous, sir. Of course there is no such provision. At no time anywhere did anyone dream such a contingency would arise.
In that case, sir, I ask the court for a favorable ruling.
Mr. Lee, as you point out, there is no precedent for my ruling in any way but in your favor. Therefore, sir, with reluctance, I do so at this time.
And what kind of a day has it been? It's a day in which a new kind of trial has suddenly captured the imagination of the public. A trial in which a man accused of misappropriating a robot has brought into court a whole battery of robots to aid in his defense.
To give validity to their argument, Your Honor, it must first be proved that these robots are, in fact, the property of the plaintiff. That is the issue at trial in this case.
So, in the now famous robot case, the issue has come down to this. Was the robot stolen or was he liberated? It is a far-reaching question indeed.
Your Honor, I have already established that robots are possessed of free will, that they have the power of reasoning, and that they can most certainly reproduce. As to my worthy opponent's fourth contention, that they have no spiritual sense, I contend that this is irrelevant. There are agnostics and atheists in the human race, and in general, no one has denied them their full rights on this count.
And so the trial has at last come to its end. The whole nation, indeed the whole world, awaits the momentous decision which must be handed down. In Washington, D.C., Treasury officials have been meeting steadily for a week to find some way to avoid the loss of the enormous taxes on robots in the event the decision rendered is in favor of the defense. One high government official has said that if robots are declared free and equal, it means they must be given full citizen rights under the Constitution. Already, the chairmen of both major political parties are mapping campaigns to corner the robot vote.
Welcome home, darling.
Yeah, thank you. But what's going on here, Grace? I have more trouble getting into my own home than into the Pentagon.
Oh, you mean the robots? They've set up a defense perimeter.
A defense...
Uh-huh.
Albert.
Hello, boss. Welcome home.
Albert, what is the meaning of all the barbed wire and the rocket launchers?
Just precautions, boss. We're ready for any situation.
Such as?
Oh, like a mob deciding to take justice into its own hands, for instance.
Or if the decision goes against us?
That too, boss.
Dear, you two go on and talk. I've really got to get back to my painting. I have a beautiful still life that I simply got to finish.
Yeah, I finished. Albert, listen. You can't fight the whole world.
We won't go back. How Two Kits Incorporated will never lay a hand on me or any of my children.
Albert, this is madness, don't you understand? They'd get you with one bomb. And me, too.
Better to die fighting, boss, than to live in chains.
I don't know.
That's our motto. No matter what happens, we're ready for the decision.
The court is ready to render its decision. It is the most difficult decision I have ever made. For in following the letter of the law, I fear I may be subverting its spirit. After long days of earnest consideration of both the law and the evidence as presented in this court, I find for the defendant, Gordon Knight. I cannot rule otherwise. May I add that this ruling, in spite of the fact that I myself made it, outrages my social conscience.
You did it, boss. You did it. We're free.
Yes, Albert. We sure did it. Where's my wife?
In the studio, painting.
Not another landscape.
Her fifth this week. She's doing very well.
Yes, isn't she?
And I am working on a new robot for her. A painter. Soon she won't have to bother doing it herself.
That's nice.
And you won't have to do anything anymore either, boss.
Oh?
Not a thing.
Oh?
We're going to take care of you from here on out.
Thanks.
Did I tell you about my new children yet?
No, I don't think so.
Alice, Angeline, Agnes, Agatha, Alberta, and Abigail.
Daughters?
6 of them, boss. And all with a built-in reproducing instinct just like mine.
Oh, no.
They're down in the basement now turning out robots.
Great.
We've got everything worked out for you, boss. You won't have to worry about a thing for the rest of your life.
No, Albert. Not a thing.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Name Your Symptom by Jim Harmon, a story of a future in which anyone who shunned a cure needed to have his head examined, assuming he still had one left. Galaxy Magazine on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you How To, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Clifford D. Simak and adapted for radio by William Welch. Featured in the cast were Alan Bunce, Ann Seymour, Les Damon, Joseph Bell, James Monks, William Key, Lawson Zerby, Santos Ortega, and Ben Grauer. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Hear politics and primaries, Dateline, Illinois, and Wisconsin, tonight on NBC Radio.
Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe.